being of Cypriot origins, my parents were like, no, you must go to school and study to be a doctor or dentist. But father, I want to be an actor. No, you must go to school and become a dentist or a doctor or whatever. But father, please, I want to act. It was an alien concept to them.
Welcome to the Silent Epidemic by Omniotherapy. I'm your host, Hatice Mehmet Quirk. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Sen Monro, a talented actor, writer and producer and the founder of Gripping Yarns Films. Sen's work spans from laugh-out-loud comedies to deeply moving dramas like Stages, a film exploring Parkinson's disease. With multiple projects in his pipeline, his passion for storytelling is unstoppable. Sen, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let's start with your journey. What led you to create Gripping Yarn Films?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me. What made me create Gripping Yarns Films? I just wanted to tell stories, and I wanted to do so in a professional capacity.
Okay.
I didn't want to just write it on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
I've written something. So the passion for wanting to write and create, first of all, books and scripts was what I wanted to do, and then the natural progression from that is to try and make films. And I've got this burning passion inside me to get stuff out there. It can be quite daunting sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
My brain fries sometimes
Yeah.
because there are so many things that I haven't written yet, and there's so much stuff that I have that I want to just get out there. So that was the passion for it.
And you're quite lucky, really, because to take a passion that obviously is something that you quite enjoy by the sounds of it, you've got that creative flair from within, which not everybody has that ability to
We've all got
create
something
stuff.
different about us.
Yeah. But to turn it into and pursue a career in writing and then filmmaking.
Well, I'm still living off pot noodle and vacuum cleaner dust. If that's, I mean, I had a very comfortable profession working for the government, but there's a song, the song I think it's Flashdance. I encourage, take your passion and make it happen. Take your passion. I won't dance. Don't worry. I've got two left feet. But you've got to take that, whatever it might be. You might be an artist. You might be a runner, an athlete, a footballer, whatever it might be. For me, it was the creative thing. I love writing and creating stuff and seeing things that sometimes other people don't see. And then when you put it in a book or a film, people go, oh yeah, I remember that. Or yeah, that was funny. Comedians do that with stand-up comedy. When you go and watch them, they'll say something you take for granted every day. You think, oh yeah, that's right. That's the epiphany for me. That's the thing that I like doing.
So is there a part of it that what you like to write, you understand that there's an element of relatability to it?
Absolutely. Yeah. When you write or create something that you relate to, even in a song, if you hear a song and there'll be a line in a song and it will take you back to a time when you might have fallen in love with somebody or you should have asked somebody out and you didn't, and there was somebody else. Whatever it might be, or it could be a sight, a sound, a smell, whatever. If you put that in a medium such as a film or a book, everything is like, it's nostalgic, or it can be, and those, I think, for me, those are the best types of storytelling, and that's what I like. I think I've got an ability to do. We'll find out soon enough.
Yes. Your background covers acting, writing and producing. What originally drew you to film as your creative medium?
Do you know, I see things in my mind's eye as film, and I tell you what it was. When I was a kid, I was about 3 or 4. I was just standing in front of the TV, watching these little figures inside the box. And I'd go around the back of the TV and, Mum, there's nobody there. I didn't understand. And I thought, that's a wonderful thing. And it's magical. When you think about it, it's magic. And, sitting there watching things like, I don't know, The Magic Roundabout and Captain Scarlet, or my mum used to watch something called Peyton Place, which was at the time the soap, like we have today soaps. That was a thing back in. I'm old. I'm back in the 60s. Yeah, thank you. My birthday next week. I'm getting old.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes. I'm a very good Turkish Pisces man. And Greek. Got Cypriot heritage. So that's what drew me to it. The fact that I thought there's this wonderful thing called TV, and I didn't understand it as a kid. And then obviously, as you grow up, you understand that you write stuff, and hopefully someone will like it, and you put it on film, on TV. It's a hard process,
Mm,
and not everybody likes what you write. But that's
mm.
what drew me to it. To answer your original question, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. The fact that you can make stuff happen.
From a mental health perspective, you've just said there, not everybody likes what
Mm.
you write. How do you cope with that? How do you cope with that? Oh my God, they didn't like it.
Well, look, you write. Well, I certainly write with the hope that, like a scattergun approach. You'd like to think that
Mm,
most people will like something, but there's no hard and fast rules with this, and not every look. Some people are vegetarians; they don't eat meat. Some people eat meat, don't like veg. It's one person's meat is another man's poison. To quote a phrase, not everyone's going to like what you do. I mean, there are these actors that play Shakespeare. You might have, I don't know, Sir John Gielgud who played Shakespeare, and then you get somebody else who plays it. Oh, he wasn't as good as the other guy.
yeah,
It,
yeah. Or
you,
the
you,
Battle of the Bonds, as
exactly
we all
that.
know.
Who's
Yeah.
your favourite James Bond? You know, um, there's you can't go into it thinking that you're going to please all the people all the time. You just have to do your best, and hopefully enough people will like it.
Mm,
And if they don't, then well, as I said, back to pot noodle and pot noodle and vacuum cleaner dust for food.
mm,
You can't go into it trying to please all the people all the time. You've just got to do the best that you can, and hopefully you do something that people will like.
yeah. So it sounds like you've got an acceptance there that you're never going to please everyone's palate, but if it doesn't suit this time, you just try again
Well,
and keep going.
that's life.
Mm,
As I said, you can't please everybody, but you've got to try and please yourself. And that's the thing. You've got to make sure that you're happy with what you're doing. You know, um, I mean, look at President Trump, for example.
yeah.
Not everyone's cup of tea, not my cup of tea either. But he got voted in. It's a
Mm,
democratic world, unless there's something sinister going on. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, you, in terms of what you create, you've got to create something for yourself.
mm,
And same with music, same with artistry.
mm,
People turn up at a museum and look at or a gallery and look at a piece of art. Not everyone will like what you
mm,
like, but you do it for yourself.
mm. Comedy plays a big role in your work. What is it about making people laugh that resonates with you?
Laughter and humor is the cure-all for
Mm,
most things.
mm,
Even at your lowest ebb, there'll be something horrible going on. And I'll give you an example. My mum, bless her, may she rest in peace. She was ill. She has
mm,
something called non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, horrible
mm,
disease. And despite the fact that she knew she was dying, she would laugh and joke about it. And I mean, she was a very stoic woman. I loved my mum with all of my heart. But knowing there was a finality to the fact that, and everyone's got the same journey to make,
mm.
she said, well, she goes, I'm going to meet God soon. I said, Mum, how can you joke about it? She goes, better than meeting the devil. And I thought, oh, okay, And I said, Mum, are you sure you go up? She goes, of course. She goes, I've done plenty of good things in my life to make sure I'm going upwards.
Ah,
And Mum sought solace in that. So, like I said, even at your lowest ebb, something can happen,
mm,
and it'll make you think, oh, actually, I need to snap myself out of it.
mm.
And like I said, for me, the fact that my mum was dealing with something quite, well, death.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than that. Well, as I said, she approached it with humour.
Mm.
So if mum can do that, then I can do it.
So she almost taught you that even in the hardest times, having that almost comedy character and seeing the humour in the difficulties lightens that burden,
It
right?
does. I mean, well, my dad was a funny guy as well. To be honest, I was surrounded
Mm,
by good people and humour. But like I said, sometimes you take the worst of a situation, and when there's sometimes no hope, whatever it might be,
mm,
there's still some light, something that guides you towards to something that'll make you laugh.
mm.
And then, I mean, without sounding too morbid about it, let's take a situation that isn't so bad. It can take something just to make your day better by seeing something funny,
Mm.
and then you feel better.
Yeah,
And that does affect your mental health.
yeah,
Because if you feel good,
yeah.
then everything's fine.
That's
It's
it.
always a sunny day when you're feeling good.
Yeah. Just a quick break from today's episode. If you've ever tried to get therapy, you know how frustrating it can be. You're finally ready to talk to someone, but you've been stuck on a waiting list for months. That's not how mental health support should work. Omnia Therapy makes getting help simple. You can book a session with a fully qualified professional in just 24 hours. No waiting, no contracts, just real support when you need it. And at £40 per session is actually affordable. If you're struggling, don't wait. Tap the link in the show notes or head to omniahealthgroup.com to book your session today. You also tackle deeply personal and serious topics like in stages. How do you shift between humour and heavier narratives?
Do you know Stages, which, if people don't know, is a true story about two people who find love despite the fact that they are both suffering from Parkinson's. And in both, and this is the point from the previous question you asked me. It's a very dire situation. So these two people living hundreds of miles apart from each other, both in loveless marriages whose partners both leave their respective husband or wife, you think that the whole world has fallen apart. And yet, had it not been for the Parkinson's, and that's the thing, the silver lining, had it not been for the fact that they share this illness, these two people who had loveless marriages would never have found love. It's really weird, but they would never have found each other and found love and been happy. So like I said, even in the depths of feeling really bad that there's no hope, there's always something. You know, there's always something to think, do you know what? Life is worth living. It's worth pursuing this, you know. And love's a great thing. I mean, I tackle, you know, love. Love's a wonderful. Love can manifest itself in so many different ways. But when you find somebody ultimately that gets you, as these two people did, it's a wonderful journey, and that's what makes life living. It doesn't happen for everybody. I know it's not a you know, rose petal path. Oh, I love the way I said that. You know, it's not all sunshine and flowers. You know, but sometimes when you think all hope is lost, something can change. You know, and make it better.
Filmmaking is incredibly collaborative. How do you build and maintain a strong creative team around you?
Have people around you, that get it, get you, get each other, and you have a common goal. You know, you don't want people to be disruptive. I'm not saying that that happens a lot, but if you've got a good team around you that you know you can trust, and they get what the common goal is, that's a good thing. You've got to have a happy ship, you know, sailing in the right direction. I'm describing stuff quite well today.
Very good. You're on point today.
Get some wind in yourselves and go in the right direction.
You're currently producing Sweet Dreams, a romantic comedy. What excites you most about this project?
Right, Sweet Dreams was, or is now, Good Evans.
Oh, right.
So originally it was called Consciences. Then we changed that to Sweet Dreams. And now it's Good Evans, because it's a play on words with Good Heavens. Good Evans, because it's about a good man from heaven called Godfrey Evans. And it's also, like I said, it's a great play on words, because he's the good conscience of our main character, a guy called Mark Stanton, who hears these voices in his head, and it's his good conscience, Godfrey Evans. Godfrey, see, I got God in there, Godfrey Evans. And it's about his journey from being this horrible, xenophobic, narcissistic, homophobic idiot to, by the end of the film, don't want to give too much away, you won't come and see it otherwise, really lovely chap. And the premise of the story is, ultimately, in the 80 odd years that you have on the planet, if you're lucky, live a good life, be decent, teach your kids well, because ultimately, you know, we all human beings are different, but we're all the same. You know, we all bleed red, but ultimately we're all going to end up as worm food or dust.
But also, I think it's almost saying, challenge your belief system, challenge what you, because he obviously had this sense of what he knew was right and wrong. And through this experience, had to challenge those beliefs, right?
Well, look, it's not, as I said, it's not the same for everybody. If you're brought up believing that, you know, being a Muslim is best, being a Christian is best, being a Catholic is best, being an atheist is best, whatever. Everyone's got their own belief, which is fine. But it's a question of, look, you know, we share this planet with 8 billion people. You know, not everyone's going to get along. And we do have different races, different colours. You know, like I said, you know, you've got Muslims, you've got Christians, you've got Catholics. But we share the planet with everybody. Just be good. Who cares if someone's black, white, gay, straight, rich, poor, thick, thin? Who cares? You know, what, you hate somebody because they're gay? Why? You hate somebody because they're Spurs supporter, Arsenal supporter, or someone eats garlic or eats chili, or is a vegetarian or is a vegan. Come on, there are far more important things on the planet to deal with. You see everyone's blowing each other up, for God's sake. Why? It doesn't matter. Just get along. We're all human beings. We all bleed red. And like I said, we all have a finite time on this planet. We're all just transient beings, leaseholders of this body for as long as that we have it for. And hopefully, you live a good life, and you teach your kids and your family and friends, whatever, that you are decent. But you've got to watch out for smiling assassins, as I call them. People will come along and test you all the time. But you've got to be like a goalkeeper. You've got to try and keep those people out of the goal. Unless you're a Spurs supporter, because we keep letting too many bloody goals in at the moment. We're shocking football. Sorry, I'm a beleaguered Spurs supporter. Can't you tell? So yeah.
You've got 6 more films in the works.
At least.
Can you give us a glimpse into what's coming?
Right. God, where do I begin? I've written one called Crooners, which is about this. It's not a boy band. It's an old boy band. It's a little bit like the Full Monty, where basically these guys, a bit staged at the beginning, cliched, where this guy's got to have a life-saving operation for his daughter. He's got to get some money. And so he tries to think about what to do. And he doesn't want to rob a bank, because they're not that kind of family. And so he sets up with his granddad and his dad an old boy band.
Right.
And they're rubbish. They're absolutely shocking. And they try to they go to a care home where there's an old boy in there who used to be a big star back in the 50s and 60s, who's homeless and penniless, and that's why he's in the care home. And you think he's got Alzheimer's and dementia. He hasn't. He's just got nowhere to live, so he pretends that he's got dementia. And they spring him out of the old people's home, and he doesn't break character. And he only sings one song when the spotlight's on him. And they end up going and winning some huge talent show. I hope it sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
So there's that. Gosh, there's current working title for another one I've written. It's called 2 Wrongs. I might call it 3 Wrongs, because 2 wrongs don't make a right, but it's about 3 people.
Yeah.
And it's about these 2 guys and a girl. There's an East End geezer. He's made his money through dodgy dealings. And there's a very affluent chap goes, oh yes, you're not good enough for me. But these guys are like oil and water. They don't mix.
Right.
And they meet this, and they know this girl. They have a mutual friendship with this girl. I say friendship. They know this girl, and it's about one-upmanship with these guys who can get to sleep with this girl. But it's not about the fact that they want to sleep with the girl. It's about who's going to be the alpha male out of these 2 idiots. And the girl's not supposed to find out about this very ill-gotten, ill-advised bet and make a wager. They both don't back down. They're idiots. And she finds out about the bet, and she turns the tables and steals all their money. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, folks. So that's that. Again, comedies, but with a message.
Yeah.
Gosh, what else have I got? I've got another one called Where Angels Fear. So there's a phrase, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. So where angels fear is that middle bit. I'm not going to tell you too much about that, because that's a work in progress. It's a good film. They're all good.
Yeah.
Gosh, what else? Currency exchange, that's another one. I'm working on that. Basically, a bank robbery gone wrong with these idiots from the East End, and they end up in Alabama, and the whole place in Alabama, this little village, ends up talking Cockney.
Just a quick break from today's episode. Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention: mental health at work. If you run a business, you've probably seen it. Stress, burnout, employees who aren't performing at their best because they're struggling. The problem? Most companies don't know how to address mental health in a way that actually helps their team. That's where Omnia Corporate Training comes in. We provide CPD certified mental health training. You've got so many, I mean, you said this earlier, you're juggling so many balls, they're all up in the air. How do you switch from one to the other? How do you manage that?
Right.
Is it just what mood you're in that day? Oh, you know what, today I fancy working on that one? Or...
What mood I'm in? No, you have to concentrate on one, or I do. I mean, look, there's no hard and fast rules when it comes to writing and doing stuff. Other people can do more than one project at a time. I like to stick to the one that I'm doing because there's so much to it, so many nuances, the minutiae of stuff, you know, and you might have an idea, and if you don't stick to it and you go off something, you'll forget it or it won't be as good. So with me, do one, get it done, make sure it's the very best that it can be. You'll never always be, you'll never always be satisfied with doing something. There'll always be, oh, I wish I'd done that, or I wish I'd changed that. But you've got to let it go. And that's the hardest thing.
Yeah,
You've got to let it go. So stick to one, get it done, and move on, hopefully.
Yeah, I suppose it's like with anything, it sort of brought me back to writing essays at uni. You submit it and then you think, oh, I wish I'd have written that bit like that, or I wish I'd put that bit in, but it's done, right? It's submitted.
But conversely, sometimes you'll do something and you forgot that you put it in. You think, oh, I didn't write that, I didn't write that. And then you look at it and go, no, I did.
Yeah,
hurrah.
yeah.
And, you know, you don't sweat so much. But you're right. But you can only do your best. You know, that's the most important thing. Do yourself justice. You know, to quote Shakespeare, this above all, to thine own self be true. Be true to yourself as best you can. You know, you'll get there.
Yeah. And it sounds like all of your films, as much as they've got their comedy element, you like to deliver the message within them.
Yeah, I do. I do like to deliver the message. I mean, as I said, not everybody wants to change. But the thing about hope, which is what Good Evans is about, it's the hope, the ability to see through the nonsense. Like, for example, I don't get racism. I can't understand how someone can hate someone because of their race, creed, color, sexual orientation. Why? You know, as I said, we share the planet with everybody. The message for me is that, look, like I said, we share the planet with all these different people. We're people at the end of the day. Who cares if someone's black? Who cares if someone's Turkish, Greek, Muslim, Jewish, Catholic? Who cares?
Yeah.
Just get on, you know, before it's too late.
Many creatives struggle to get their projects off the ground. What advice would you give to those trying to break into the industry?
Just don't give up. Don't give up. Giving up, I was going to say it's easy. It's not easy because you don't want to give up. You know, but if you've got a real passion for doing whatever it might be, you know, if you want to be a mechanic or you want to be a teacher, or in my case, I want to write and create stuff. There's this thing gnawing away at me all the time that, you know, don't stop. Don't. And my parents were very forthright in terms of very industrious people. And I used to see my parents, even at their lowest ebb, still getting up and stepping up and doing. And I think, well, if they could have done it with nothing when they came to England in 1952 with £3 in their pocket and they worked bloody hard, then I can do it. And there are times that I don't want to, but I as I said, for me, I want to create stuff and I want people to think that was a great film, that was a great story. Because when you get complimented for doing something nice, you want to do it more, you know. But again, to answer, I've gone off tangent for a second, but the advice is, if you really want to do something, you've got to keep pushing yourself. And it's those that continue, and despite whatever else might be going on, you've got to carry on. I mentioned before, there are far more talented people than me, and there are that just gave up. It's not in my DNA to give up. I can't, because giving up is like, oh, why have I given up? And then you've left your dream behind. I can't do that. And like I said, your life is finite, and you don't want to get to 70, 80 if you get to those ages and think, I should have done that. Do it while you can, because there's going to be a time when you're not going to be able to. You know, don't regret it.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't regret it, folks.
Independent filmmaking comes with challenges. What's one unexpected lesson you've learned along the way?
That's a great question, and I can answer that because it's somewhere along the line. Again, I quote somebody else's. I think Walt Disney said this: "The harder I work, the luckier I get," and it's true. You may work hard with no reward, and you think no one's going to see this, no one's going to get this film made, no one's going to get this book done. But if you sit there at home and don't show it to anybody, no one's going to see it, and you're going to be in your little cocoon going, yeah, I'm old and grey now, or in my case, bald. Right? No one's going to see this film. It's because you haven't got it out there. Get it out there. However it might manifest itself, just get it out there. And the biggest surprise for me is, I know I've got a talent for doing so, and I hope that doesn't come across as too blasé. Look at me, he thinks he's got talent. if I didn't think I had talent, I wouldn't do it. Just like when you're kicking a football around as a kid, you know, your dad might say, oh, he's actually pretty good. Let's stick him in this football team. Someone will get to see you. And if you're that good, and if you've got something, even the dog agrees, if you've got something about you, then eventually you'll get lucky. But you've got to put yourself in the arena to be lucky. But if you have what it takes, and you've got something that someone really thinks, do you know what, that's a great story, or that's a good song, or whatever it might be, you'll make that chance happen. But you've got to put yourself in the ballpark to get that opportunity to make it happen. Because like I said, if you're sitting at home watching Judge Judy all day or daytime telly, it's not going to happen. Get out there, make it happen.
That age-old saying, you've got to be in it to win it, right?
Take your passion and make it. You've got to take your passion and make it happen. You can hear I listen to dodgy magic radio, you know. But and I've got to just say to him, when I heard that, you know, I think it's Irene Cara, I heard that, I thought, take your passion and make it happen. It's absolutely right. It's true. You've got to make it happen. Make it happen, folks.
You wear multiple hats in the industry. How do you stay focused while balancing so many roles?
I don't. You know, in short answer, I don't. I do a lot of things, it's true, but they're all part of what I do. So it's not like I take one hat off and do it. It's all about the creative process for me. I just get on with it, you know. One day I might be writing something, one day I might be correcting something, but it's all part of the big gripping yarns films house, if I want a better way of putting it. It's just what I do, you know. Again, I'll talk about building, for example. One day you might be digging out a trench. Next day you'll be building a brick wall or putting a roof on it. It's all part of the process for building. For me, it might be right. Today I've got to write. Today I've got to correct. Today I've got to speak to somebody about hopefully someone liking the film enough to want to make it. It's all a juggling process. But like I said, you throw all the balls in the air and hopefully, you know, it'll all sort itself out.
So you see it all as part of the same process. It's just different days bring different tasks.
Exactly that. You know, it's, you know, in order to make an omelette, you've got to smash a few eggs. But when you've done that and you cook something, it's done. Same with, you know, with films and writing. You've got to do certain processes, but you've got to concentrate on one thing on that particular day. But in order to, it's a stepping stone. In order to get one thing done, you've got to move on to this and do that, and then you move on to the next one. And then hopefully it all comes together. And then you stand back and go, I did it. Or in my case with the team, because that's the other thing. It is a team thing. We did it. You know, it's got to be a team thing. And that's going back to one of the questions you asked earlier on. It's all about having a winning team, a team that gets what you're doing. You know, you've got to. That's so important. It's got to be harmonious
and aligned by the sounds of things in terms of what you're trying to achieve. Having that agreed approach of how you're going to tackle it.
Well, you've got to know what you're doing. I mean, you know, you've got to have somebody, I wouldn't say in charge, but steering the ship. Otherwise, it's chaos. You're going to be going around in circles, you know. But you need someone to hold that rudder and go into a particular direction. You know, otherwise you'd be, you know, again, rudderless. You'd be just going nowhere. You need a good captain.
Yes. Just a quick break from today's episode. Have you ever felt like the kind of support you need just doesn't exist? Maybe you need help outside of normal hours. Maybe you don't even know where to start. That's why Omnia Neurodiscovery exists. We offer specialised, flexible mental health support, including intensive evening and weekend packages for people who need something different. If that sounds like what you've been looking for, don't wait. Tap the link in the show notes or visit omniahealthgroup.com to find out how we can help. Not all stories are easy to tell. How do you choose which ones to bring to life?
That's actually not difficult for me because I just tend to know what I want to do. You mentioned stages earlier on. I'll tell you about stages for me. I write rom-coms. I like comedies. I like laughter. Stages is not. Oh my God! But it's. I mean, it's about Parkinson's disease. You know, it's a tough story. But when I met the people that were involved in it, it blew me away. Like I said, because it's a love story. And there's the romance in that. And I thought, you know, even in the depths of despair, dealing with something so horrible as this disease, and it could be anything, but in this case it was Parkinson. There was something about the story that drew me to it. So that's the thing I like about the writing, you know, and I like having a good story, a good message, and making people laugh. You know, even if it's a sad story, there's got to be there's got to be something that draws you to it.
That sort of goes back to your mum's experience,
Well,
right? And there was the sadness in her.
but not just, I mean, not just mine. I mean, I'm sure other people's
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
without doubt. You know, we've all got highs and lows, and in order to appreciate the highs, you've got to deal with the lows. That's life.
Yeah.
You know, it's life is not all, you know, happiness and, like I said, rainbows and flowers, and you know, there's ups and downs. But hopefully, you'll have some nice people around you to comfort and soften those down times, and sharing the good stuff later.
It's funny actually, because I do tend to say that to clients, or even when I talk to people about therapy, and we can't expect to go through life always on the highs, you know, because that's not life, is it?
It's life.
You know, we can learn to navigate the highs and the lows, and how we are mentally on the lows can make us more resilient to cope with them.
Well, you've just said something about your mental state, your good state, really does depend upon the people around you. Because when you're feeling sad and something's not right, if you're dealing with it on your own, it can make you feel really bad. Because but when you was it a problem shared is a problem solved? Doesn't always solve it, but it certainly softens the blow. But if you've got some good people around you, your mental state, your welfare, your general health improves. You know, and if you can get through the bad times, there's going to be good times ahead.
Yeah.
And that's what we all strive for.
Yes.
You know, we strive to have a good work-life balance, family balance, health balance, mental state balance. We all want to be in a happy place, you know. And my happy place is creating stuff that other people will like, hopefully. You know, watch my films, folks.
Everyone seems to sort of know that the film industry is quite competitive.
Extremely.
There is a lot of rejection, quite challenging. How do you manage that with your mental health?
It drives me crazy sometimes that I think, how can people not get this? You know, but it brings me back to what I'm saying, what I said to you earlier on. You've got to believe that what you've got, people will appreciate and understand and perhaps empathize with. You know, you can't drive yourself crazy by thinking, oh, no one's going to like this. Just to quote, publish and be damned. Get it out there. You know, don't let other people influence you as to whether they think it's, if they think it's good or bad, doesn't matter. You know, get it done and let it be judged for what it is. Let the cards land as they are. You know, if you went into it thinking no one's going to like this, you're not going to write anything. You know. And some of the best stuff that's ever been written has just been because of, I don't care, I'm just going to get it done. Plenty of films that weren't going to be written or made because people thought, oh, it's not going to be liked. Well, then actually, look, J.K. Rowling, for example, Harry Potter, one of the biggest successes. You know, she got rejected by hundreds, well, maybe not hundreds, but a lot of publishers, book publishers. And in the end, someone took a chance and published 500 of her books. Look at her now. You just got to take it. You know, take your passion, make it happen, get it out there, and don't care if it's going to be judged badly. You know, you've got to just get it done, and that will help your mental health. Because if people, even if it's only one or two people, think, oh yeah, I like that, you'll start to feel better. And like a little sunflower, you'll open up your petals and face that sunshine. Go, oh, this is great. And it will spur you on to do more. And that's got to be good for, as I said, your physical welfare, your mental state, because everyone likes to do stuff that people like. Of course, if people want to be, it's human nature. People want to be liked. I can't imagine anyone saying, no, I want to be disliked. No, you don't. But if you, as I said, if you continue and persevere and just understand that there are going to be times when you're going to fall down, and if you've got good friends around you that pick you up and say, no, we believe in you, you know, but ultimately, you've got to believe in yourself first. And it might be a little bit of a lonely furrow to plow, but you've got to just get up, do it. And then, like I said, there will be a better day, a better time ahead. And we'll all live in lovely sunshine and everyone will be happy.
Yes.
And the world will be a better place.
So we like to ask all our guests this question.
Oh dear.
What?
Oh, okay. What is
Don't-
it?
Don't panic. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Gosh, Rory, it's going to be a really difficult question. What advice would I give my younger self to do with this, what we're talking about, or just generally?
Just generally.
Go for it. Go for it. Being of Cypriot origins, my parents were like, no, you must go to school and study to be a doctor or dentist. But father, I want to be an actor. No, you must go to school and become a dentist or a doctor or whatever. But father, please, I want to act. It was an alien concept to them. And I didn't listen to myself, despite the fact that inside was this burning passion to write and act. And I pleased my parents before I pleased myself. That sounds dodgy. Not in that way. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Like I said, we're all here for a finite amount of time. Some get a long life, some don't. And life isn't always fair, because some people that you think, why are they still living and breathing? They weren't nice people. There's no set rules. It's all chaos. But the advice I would have given myself, had I been stronger mentally and physically, in terms of how, I should have just said, Mum, Dad, no. I love you with all of my heart. And I do. I'm getting quite emotional. I love them so much. But I should have listened to myself, because I know that I had that thing inside me that was burning and bursting to get out. And I should have started a lot younger. But don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Giving up is, I was going to say giving up is easy. It's not easy, because you take that with a real, it's a hard decision to make, to think, right, I'm not going to do this anymore. But you've got to keep going on. Just keep going on, and you'll find that you'll feel so much better for it. Yeah, that's the advice.
Sen, it's been fantastic conversation. Your passion for storytelling, whether through comedy or drama, is truly inspiring. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to The Silent Epidemic. If Sen's journey has inspired you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Stay with us for more thought-provoking conversations next time. And thank you for joining us. You've been a wonderful guest.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
It has been.
It's been a good laugh. I hope people do get to feel better about themselves, about their mental state and whatever. Because like I said, you're not here for a long time. Make the most of it, folks.